Not every investment builds wealth. Some are engineered to drain it, slowly at first, then all at once. In the next few minutes, I'll expose 5 so called investments that make people poorer year after year. If you've ever been pitched a can't lose opportunity, listen up. By the end, you'll know how these traps work, what red flags to spot, and where to redirect your money instead. Number 5 fools smart investors, and it might already be in your portfolio. Meet Alex. He dreamed of building wealth fast, so he jumped on every hot investment his friends told him about. Penny stocks, flashy crypto tokens, even a few so called exclusive funds with high entry fees. At first, it felt exciting. He saw charts going up, promises of huge returns, and stories of people striking it rich overnight. But reality came crashing down. Within 5 years, most of his savings had evaporated. What Alex didn't realize was that he wasn't investing. He was gambling in cleverly disguised traps designed to make others rich at his expense. And here's the scary part. Alex isn't alone. Millions of people fall for these exact same opportunities every single year. The good news, if you understand how they work, you can avoid them completely. And today, I'll reveal the 5 most dangerous ones, starting with the most common trap of all. The first trap is penny stocks. They look cheap, and that's exactly why so many beginners fall for them. The pitch sounds convincing. If this stock goes from 10 cents to $1, you'll make 10 times your money. But here's the harsh reality. Most penny stocks never reach $1. In fact, most of them go to zero. Why? Because penny stocks are playgrounds for manipulation. Insiders and promoters hype them up with fake news, paid press releases, and wild promises. Ordinary investors rush in, hoping to catch the next Tesla at 10 cents. But what they're really catching is a classic pump and dump. The price spikes for a short time, then collapses as insiders cash out. Studies show that more than 95% of penny stocks underperform the market. That means if you hold them long enough, you're almost guaranteed to lose. Even worse, they're incredibly hard to sell once prices start dropping. If you ever hear a friend say, "This little known company could be the next Amazon," remember this. Amazon didn't become a trillion-dollar company by starting on the penny stock market. Real wealth isn't built on lottery tickets, and penny stocks are nothing more than that. The second trap is MLMs disguised as investments. Multi-level marketing schemes have been around for decades, but lately they've taken on a new form. Instead of selling vitamins or cosmetics, they promise investment opportunities. You'll hear things like, deposit $500 and earn 10% every month, plus bonuses if you bring in friends. Here's the truth. That's not investing, that's recruiting. Your so-called returns aren't coming from profits. They're coming from the money of new people joining the system. And as soon as recruitment slows down, the entire thing collapses. Think about it. If someone really had an investment that guaranteed 10% a month, why would they need your money at all? Banks, hedge funds, and billionaires would line up to pour in billions. The reason they target ordinary people is because ordinary people don't ask the hard questions. The saddest part? Many victims of MLM investment schemes end up dragging in their friends and family thinking they're helping them. When it all collapses, relationships are destroyed right along with bank accounts. A good rule to remember. If your investment depends on recruiting more people to survive, it's not an investment. It's a pyramid in disguise. And pyramids always crumble. The third trap is get-rich-quick crypto scams. Now, let's be clear. Cryptocurrency itself isn't the problem. Bitcoin and Ethereum have proven themselves as legitimate assets. The danger lies in the thousands of shady coins and projects that pop up every year, promising to make you rich overnight. These scams usually follow the same playbook: flashy websites, anonymous founders, promises of guaranteed returns, and aggressive social media hype. They'll say things like, "This coin is going to the moon," or "buy now before the price explodes." What they're really doing is inflating the price so insiders can cash out, leaving regular investors holding worthless tokens. One of the biggest red flags is when a project focuses more on marketing than on the actual technology. If you can't clearly understand what a coin does or if it promises guaranteed profits, run. Real investments don't need hype to survive. In 2021 and 2022, billions of dollars were lost to rug pull, scams where developers suddenly disappeared after collecting investor money. And while regulations are improving, the truth is, new scams appear every single day. So remember, if a crypto project promises the world but can't explain the basics, it's not an opportunity. It's a trap. The fourth trap is overpriced courses disguised as investments. You've probably seen the ads. Pay me $2,000 and I'll show you how to make $10,000 a month. They call it an investment in yourself. But let's be honest, many of these programs are designed to make the seller rich, not the buyer. Education is powerful and good training is worth paying for. But here's the test. Does the price of the course make sense compared to the potential value? If the course costs thousands, yet the opportunity it teaches can realistically earn you only a few hundred, that's not an investment. It's a bad deal. Another red flag is pressure tactic. They'll say things like, this offer expires tonight, or only 10 seats left. Scarcity is a psychological trick to make you spend before you think. Real education doesn't need fake urgency. The worst part? These overpriced courses often recycle free information you could find online with a little research. They promise secret formulas, but when you get inside, you realize it's the same generic advice packaged with a huge price tag. That doesn't mean all courses are scams. Some are valuable, especially if they give you step by step guidance and personal support. But the golden rule is this: don't confuse self improvement with investing. An investment should give you measurable returns. If the only person getting rich is the one selling the course, you've just paid tuition for someone else's dream lifestyle. The fifth trap is high fee mutual funds, a silent killer of wealth. On the surface, they look safe and professional. You hand your money to a respected institution, and they promise to manage it for you. Sounds reasonable, right? But behind the curtain lies a system designed to bleed investors dry through fees. Here's how it works. Many mutual funds charge what's called an expense ratio, sometimes 1%, 2%, or even more. That might not sound like much, but over decades, it's devastating. Imagine you invest $100,000 for 30 years. If your money grows at 8% annually with no fees, you end up with over $1 million. But add a 2% fee, and suddenly your final amount drops by hundreds of thousands. That's money taken directly out of your pocket and handed to Wall Street. And here's the kicker: most high fee funds don't even beat the market. Study after study shows that low cost index funds outperform the majority of expensive mutual funds over time. So you're paying extra, Narhim, for worse results. Why do these funds still exist? Because they're extremely profitable for the managers, not for the investors. They rely on trust, complexity, and the fact that most people don't read the fine print. The lesson is simple: fees matter. Over decades, they can make the difference between retiring wealthy and struggling. Don't let high fee funds eat your future. Always check the expense ratio, and remember, the best investments are often the simplest. So now you've seen 5 so-called investments that actually destroy wealth: penny stocks, MLM schemes, get-rich-quick crypto scams, overpriced courses, and high-fee mutual funds. And yet millions of people still fall for them every single year. Why? Because they're marketed as safe, exclusive, or even sophisticated opportunities. But here's the uncomfortable truth: avoiding bad investments is just as important as finding good ones. One wrong move can erase years of progress, and most people don't realize the damage until it's too late. And the scariest part? The fifth trap we just covered, high fee funds, is still sitting quietly in the portfolios of smart, hardworking people who think they're playing it safe. So, if these are the investments to avoid, what should you actually do instead? The answer might surprise you, and it's much simpler than most so called experts want you to believe. Let's wrap this up. The 5 investments to avoid at all costs are penny stocks, MLM schemes, get rich quick crypto scams, overpriced courses sold as investments, and high fee mutual funds. Each one looks different on the surface, but they all have the same outcome. They transfer money from your pocket into someone else's. So, what should you do instead? The answer is surprisingly simple. Focus on investments that are transparent, low cost, and built for the long term. Things like broad market index funds, diversified ETFs, and assets that actually generate income, like real estate or dividend paying stocks. These aren't flashy. They won't double your money overnight, but they work. Wealth isn't about chasing shortcuts. It's about consistent, compounding growth over time. Here's the truth: one smart decision can set you up for decades, while one bad trap can set you back just as long. The choice is yours. So let me ask you, which of these 5 traps have you seen people fall for? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know your experience. And if you want more videos that cut through the hype and show you how money really works, make sure to subscribe right now, because in the next video, I'll reveal the investments that actually build wealth and the step-by-step plan to get started today. Don't miss it.